Welcome back, Smackdown, April 26, 2024, live from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, WKRP.
Paul tells Kayla that Roman Reigns has withdrawn himself from the WWE Draft. Now, this is a clever way to write Roman off TV, so people aren't, where's Roman? Why isn't Roman drafted? Why isn't Roman? We know, folks, we know his health is a factor. So this was a good way to write him off TV. I didn't mind this segment. Woo! Then, of course, we go to our contract signing as promised last week. AJ Styles, the challenger for Cody Rhodes' Undisputed WWE Championship. This in the ring hosted by Corey Graves, whatever his name is.
It doesn't matter!
So this is a very vanilla promo between both of these guys. The mutual respect thing, we're both from Atlanta, yada, yada, yada. I'm not trying to poo-poo this, but AJ Styles, not a promo guy, really. Cody Rhodes promos it's a vanilla promo leading into Backlash for the championship, as I stated. And we have them meeting next week face-to-face because they're not meeting face-to-face right now, and they won't meet face-to-face later in the night, but that's later in the night. This segment, I know there's been contract signings over the years, and not every one of them has to end with somebody going through a table, but this match is such a non-draw to me. I don't see the appeal of this match whatsoever when AJ can work circles around Cody, but Cody is the chosen one right now, so I'm just hoping it turns out at least decent at the pay-per-view. Woo! Next on to one of my least favorite things, the WWE Draft. Yes, more useless than betting on pro wrestling is the draft between Raw and Smackdown. And so the highlight of the entire draft night one was when Triple H was announcing his second pick and somebody yelled because there was a pause.
Raw selects.
So back to the actual draft. We had SmackDown getting the first pick, which was announced by Cody as Triple H invited him to stay on stage after he was headed back after the very, very boring promo. So number one SmackDown pick, Bianca Belair, the EST. Raw picks Jey Uso, which the Yeet Man himself, I don't hate Jey Uso. I just don't think he's a main eventer as a single star. But you know what? It'll be entertaining to see what he does over there on the red brand. Next up, SmackDown, their second overall pick, third overall in the first round, Carmelo Hayes, somebody I had heard his name, never seen him work. And I am still unimpressed with Carmelo Hayes after watching, but we'll get to that later in the main event. Seth Rollins, picked by Triple H for Raw. Next, the Architect, the generic Adam Rose wannabe Rosebud.
Michael, quit dancing.
And also on SmackDown tonight, we actually have wrestling on our wrestling program.
Liar!
Match number one, El Gato No Es Bueno.
El gato no es bueno.
Versus the LWO. Now, folks, the LWO having Rey Mysterio part of it, if you're any kind of a wrestling fan with a memory longer than 10 seconds, you'll know that Rey Mysterio didn't want to join the LWO back when Eddie Guerrero was running it in WCW. But now it's, oh yeah, I'm in the LWO. Yeah, we're LWO, baby, yeah. Shut up. This is a stupid angle. I still want an old LWO t-shirt, but it didn't need to be brought back. The LWO needed to come back as much as the NWO needs to come back, okay? It doesn't. LWO, Dragon Lee, he ends up pinning Angel Garza, and then Santos Escobar comes down, and they show the security footage, which I know this had to be a rib on AEW in some capacity, but then again, the school of thought is it probably isn't because WWE isn't going to bother taking shots at AEW because AEW is such a non-entity when it comes to them being competition for the Fed. It's not. It's just like if somebody gets cut from the WWE or gets fired, released, whatever, they can go to AEW and it's like working for a big indie company that happens to have a regional TV deal, except it's nationwide.
It's fucking bullshit.
But it's still like working for an indie company. It's run by a money mark. So
fucking guy.
There you go.
Let's fucking go!
Santos Escobar, they show the security footage of Carlito jumping Dragon Lee and then acting like he didn't jump Dragon Lee, like he just happened to upon him. Carlito does the only thing he can do to prove his innocence, shoves Dragon Lee into Rey Mysterio, hits him with the backstabber, and runs out through the crowd as Santos Escobar and the rest of
El gato no es bueno.
laugh in the entryway until we cut to a commercial. This segment was bad. It was ridiculous. It was stupid, but it wasn't as bad as this.
Smile. Oh my God!
You serious?
Another match. What did we do to get so lucky to get 2 matches back to back? It's Braun Breaker versus Cedric the Entertainer.
I know, nigga.
I'm just kidding. It was Cedric Alexander, but it may as well have been Cedric the Entertainer because this match was over like that. Braun Breaker goes over. Another squash, and I wonder if they're getting ready to release Cedric Alexander too because he squashed Cameron Grimes and he was gone. Steiner Jr., though, this guy's a beast. Gets drafted to Raw, as I'll cover here shortly. And, yeah, I think he's got a bright future.
Woo!
General Manager Nick Aldis backstage with Tiffany Stratton. He informs her she's facing Naomi tonight per Bayley's request. It was Bayley's idea. When Tiffany says, whose stupid idea was this? He says, well, it was hers, and here's Bayley. And the winner faces her at Backlash for her WWE Women's Championship. I don't like Naomi. Bayley is meh. Tiffany is definitely a star. This woman is a star. She's a draw. You put her with Bayley in a program, I don't know how good it'll go. Tiffany will probably end up shining in this. But, you know, Bayley can still get her over. She's a competent enough worker, too. She's just her born on date is past its expiration at this point.
Woo!
Don't look now. More exciting action from the WWE Draft here on Friday Night SmackDown Live from Cincinnati, Ohio. We have Michelle McCool representing SmackDown, which draws an Undertaker chant, and Tori Wilson, which drew no chant. And I'm not lying when I say Michelle McCool just looks way too, she looks skinny. Tori Wilson still looks fantastic. She looks great. But Michelle McCool, I'm not saying she looks bad. It's just I'm not used to seeing her that thin. It's not like she ever carried an excess amount of muscle. She was always athletic. She comes from a very athletic background. You can tell she takes care of herself. Just very thin and light. And Tori Wilson, sweetheart, I don't want to hear you complain. I was mortified by having to wear skimpy outfits because you wore a very elegant and classy, beautiful, yet revealing dress out here, and you willingly posed for Playboy twice, and you were a fitness competitor and model before you got into WWE. So I don't want to hear you crying 20 years later that you were exploited, blah, blah, blah. Please shut up and just announce these draft picks that nobody cares about. And Michelle McCool, first pick in the second round, Randy Orton, the Viper, comes to SmackDown. And that's good news for us who like SmackDown because Randy Orton's still on top of his game. The guy will do business with anybody as long as they'll do business with him. And I like Randy Orton. Second pick, Tori Wilson announces Braun Breaker going to Raw, who we just saw squash Cedric the Entertainer. The Leviathan herself, Nia Jax, is the third overall pick for SmackDown, which I can't say I don't know why she's a big deal. Never mind. That's a bad joke. That's low-hanging fruit. Speaking of fruit, Nia Jax should eat some more. Tori Wilson, fourth pick in the draft for Raw. Liv Morgan, the lovely Liv Morgan, and that's the second round of the draft.
Woo!
Next up, we have video of Solo, Sikoa, and Tama Tonga on SmackDown beating up Kevin Owens, which Heyman is talking to Solo and Tama backstage. Owens runs in, hits Solo with the forearm. Him and Tonga are going back and forth. The security comes in, they're separated, and we cut away. And then we're out in the entryway where Kayla Braxton is interviewing the EST. I can't even call her that. It's Bianca Belair is being interviewed, sets up for the title match with Damage Control's Kabuki Warriors, Oscar the Grouch, and Kyrie Irving, I don't know. But anyway, so they're jaw-jacking back and forth. Jade Cargill comes out, looks phenomenal as always, and then they jaw-jack back and forth, and then the promo is thankfully interrupted by... I'm just kidding, it's Kevin Owens and the Bloodline, and Randy Orton comes out to make the save. The heels powder as Orton goes to hit an RKO, and he and Owens embrace, and woo! I know you were waiting with bated breath for round 3 of the draft, so here we go. Round 3, the presenters, Bubba Ray representing SmackDown, Devon representing Raw, and LA Knight is the first pick by SmackDown. Ricochet picked by Raw, and then the Bloodline stays on SmackDown, and Sheamus is over on Raw now. So not a lot there. The crowd chanted ECW when Bubba Ray and Devon came out, and all I can think of is this promo from Heatwave.
And shut the fuck up!
Let's take a look at you people. We got some faggot in a Hawaiian shirt down here. We got a mom in the front row who taught her daughter how to suck dick.
Here we are, match number 3. Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. Bayley at ringside. The match is thrown out when a rogue, just Leviathan. Oh yeah, it's Nia Jax, the rogue Leviathan. She squashes Bayley, squashes Naomi, and then leaves the table scraps. Who am I kidding? Nia Jax would never leave table scraps. But Tiffany picks up the bones, throws them in the ring, hits the perfect moonsault onto both of them again for a second week in a row because it's Tiffy time. And yeah, this match was garbage. But later on, it's announced at Backlash it's going to be a triple threat for the title. So there we go. Tiffany getting her title shot against Bayley with other challenger Naomi. And I'm sure Nia Jax will interfere in this and probably eat all 3 other competitors and accidentally eat the belt. Round 4 of the draft this time. Teddy Long representing SmackDown, JBL Raw. Teddy Long with the first and third pick takes AJ Styles. He stays on SmackDown. Andrade comes over to SmackDown. JBL takes the entire Alpha Academy. Chad Gable, Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Tozawa. And Kiana Jones gets the call up from NXT. And I had never seen Kiana Jones before. And I saw her tonight on a highlight package. And wow, if her in-ring work matches her aesthetics, Jesus have mercy, this woman will be a star. Main event time, folks, and Carmelo Hayes drafted 3rd overall. His first night on SmackDown. Of course, why wouldn't he come out and say, I want a match with the champion? So, Undisputed WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes, baby, the fruit of death, the road loins, if you will, daddy, defeats Carmelo Hayes in what was a aggressive tumbling match. And the spot where Cody could have seriously injured his shoulder, where he and Hayes ran opposite sides, both leapt into the metal, and Cody landed on his shoulder. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened because they were both gassed. You could see Cody, they're leaning over, waiting. Cody taps him on the back, and then they both go. And Cody comes in and hits his shoulder, and I don't know. I hope he's not injured. I don't want to see the kid get injured. I really don't. As much as I don't want him to have the belt, I don't want to see a storyline or arc, be prematurely scrapped because of an injury that somebody sustained. Cody hits a crossroads, wins. AJ's in the ring waiting when he gets up to celebrate, and we go off the air with a handshake and more. Nobody gives a shit because there's no heat between these two. It's like AJ was a heel, and now he's some kind of tweener because they're both from Atlanta. Yeah! My takeaways from the show are the draft is pointless, takes up TV time, and I know what you're doing, and it always has been lame. It's to move, workers around, maybe freshen up, do an angle, here, maybe rebrand a gimmick here. You separate tag teams. Famously, the Dudleys were separated this way. It's not good. It's never worked. It's always been stupid. I don't like it. I don't like the idea. The main event for one of your big belts was between a vanilla mid-card 222-pounder and Cody Rhodes and a 210-pound guy who looks like a P. Diddy victim. The AJ and Cody program is...
That's a 0 for me, dog.
There's no heat. There's no real animosity. I don't like these matches where it's like, we have so much mutual respect for each other, neither of us is going to act like a heel. Well, we know Cody's the babyface, which leaves AJ, who's been a heel up to this point, to be a heel, and we're not getting that. And it just totally is boring. And I just, yeah, I would, there's nothing here with this. So they're going to have to wow us in the ring, and that's going to be on AJ Styles because I'm sorry, Cody's really not. He's never had that wow factor. He doesn't have the wow factor for me. Never will. That's it, folks. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Did you watch SmackDown? What do you think of my thoughts on it? And we will be back with the Raw review on probably Tuesday. We've got Nitro on Monday and so much more. Tuesday Night Terrorvision with Smith's Grove Sanitarium. I'm Etep. I will catch you on the next one. That's it. Go home.
Living, riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun that can kiss any woman right here, even that fat one, and make her cry.